You might have seen some terrifying paintings like this one, or you might have seen paintings that just keep your eyes glued to it, like this one. But what do you get when you make a painting with both of these qualities? You get the Lunatic of Etretat by the French painter Hugues Merle. Now, where does your attention land at the first glance? For many, it might be the bloodshot eyes that make her look like some demon. Then your eyes move down a little bit and you notice that the woman is holding a wooden log, dressed up as a baby. I don't think there's an argument about the mental state of the subject here. She is a lunatic. That's established. But the interesting question about this painting is, how did she become one? Despite the woman being a lunatic, there are many things that just don't make any sense. Like, notice the way she is sitting here. A perfect posture with her hands sloping downwards and the foot on its toes. Even a seasoned model would struggle to strike such a pose. We have no idea about who the person is in the painting and how did she end up where she is. And that makes my job exciting. Let's get into an investigation of this woman and what the artist wanted to show through the deranged yet engaging eyes of this lunatic. In many ways, this painting is very close to Pieta by Michelangelo that shows a grieving mother. Now, before we get into the meaning of the painting, I think it's important to figure out how this woman lost her mind. We do not have a backstory about her, but the wooden log that she's holding as a baby is an important clue. We can clearly see that she's a grieving mother who might have lost her child, which led to her mental breakdown. But what you see right here in this scene is not as heartbreaking as what goes on behind the scenes. Here's something you might have missed. Look at the sleeves. They are specifically torn and tattered around the wrist area. This shows that she's kept handcuffed all the time, and she struggles and tries to get rid of it. Clearly, she is violent, as those eyes do not look very inviting. So the people at the asylum have to keep her tied up so that she does not harm anyone or herself. The only time one can see her calm and in peace is when she's holding this log, thinking that it's her baby. But how did she lose her baby? I mean, the infant mortality rate in the 1800s was staggeringly high. But I feel that her case is different. I think the death of a child was not natural. Well, the reason for it? The painting was made in 1871 during the deadly Franco-Prussian War, resulting in the death of almost 250,000 civilians. Now, we know what war does to people, turning them into creatures worse than animals. This was the case with this war as well. German troops would enter villages only to pillage and kill the people at will. It is very likely that this woman had to suffer such horrible things. Perhaps out of all the atrocities she had to go through, losing her child was the one that struck the hardest. Her eyes show madness, suffering, pain, but also love. The way she clutches onto the wooden log thinking it's her baby, yet her posture is strong and confident, as if she's ready to defend her child no matter who comes. And perhaps that's the reason why her sleeves are tattered. When the time comes, the workers of the asylum have to take her baby away and lock her up, leading to an immense struggle. What breaks my heart is the fact that every time the wooden log is taken away from her, she suffers the same pain of losing her child. Every day, her only sense of comfort becomes the reason for her madness. So the reason why her stare terrifies us is evident. She's a lunatic who suffered something horrible, leading to her current mental state. But the reason why we are drawn towards her eyes is because the loving part of her, the motherly love, can only be seen when she's holding the wooden log, her baby. Only a few artists have the talent of showing such a subtle yet powerful emotion so fluently. Despite this painting being made during the Romanticism era, there's no grand display of emotions. It's just a broken mother who isn't anymore. A very common mistake I've noticed is when people try to find the meaning of the painting, they overanalyze the painting and find a subtle political message behind it. And here's the thing, there isn't a deeper meaning behind it. France had lost the war and people assumed that the painter might be representing the country through this woman. France had also lost some territories with the defeat, and perhaps the woman holding the wooden log shows the unfortunate condition of the country. That's a beautiful analogy and it fits perfectly with the painting. But it's very unlikely to be true. This becomes clearly apparent when you look at some other paintings made by Merle. Take a look at some of the paintings by the artist and try to notice some patterns. Did you get it? Almost all the paintings by Merle have a female subject showing some kind of subtle but noticeable emotion. In some paintings, they are happy with an infectious smile on their faces, while in others, they exhibit a more complicated emotion. But in many of these paintings, we can see the women interacting with someone, mostly with their children. This painting is called The Gypsy Mother, and it is very similar to the painting that we are looking at today. The eyes filled with pain and rage while the baby is in her arms, perhaps unconscious or even dead. It was painted in 1870, before the war, but the same meaning. Or these paintings titled The Scarlet Letter and The Poor Mother. Both very similar to this painting in terms of showing the mother with her child experiencing a difficult situation. So to assume that Merle made this painting with a deeper political meaning would be inaccurate. He understood that the scene of a mother and a child is a powerful one and can be used to convey so much complex emotion without the need of a grand scenic display. No doubt all of his paintings are powerful and captivating, but there is something about this one that beats the rest. The eyes, the posture, the story that reveals itself from everything around the woman just works brilliantly. So what do you think about this painting? Do you think that she became a lunatic after losing a child, or was always a lunatic? Also, I would love to take some suggestions from you guys on the next painting that I should make a video on. So let me know in the comment section below and leave the rest to me. As always, thanks for watching and consider subscribing if you liked the video. Till we meet next time, have a great day ahead.